Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be doing a love connection energy check-in reading. There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Aragonite. Group 2 is the Lepidolite. And group 3 is the Amazonite. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Aragonite. So let's start by taking a look at the person on your mind that you're in a love connection with. What are their thoughts and feelings about you and the state of the connection right now? Okay, we have Watchtower of the North, Winter, Ostara, Incubation, and Witch's Cottage, Security. So there's a sense here with these energies that this person is wanting to build more closeness, more intimacy with you. They may be making preparations to take this connection to the next level or to open up to you about some deep personal truths that can help to bring the two of you closer to one another, that may have explained or will help explain kind of delays or obstacles up to this point in time. It feels like things internally within this person, a hesitancy to open up and trust fully in sort of the redemptive power of love that may have caused them to want to sort of vet this connection out from all different angles before finally succumbing to the reality of their feelings for you and a desire to create that closeness. So there may be some important information or even anecdotes from their past that they may be sharing with you about circumstances of rejection or situations that have fallen apart that have left wounds and scars and almost made this person, it feels like, jaded or mistrusting about love in general, but that you have really helped to kind of create a rebirth energy for them, or a desire to sort of evolve beyond that state of sort of keeping people at a distance, keeping their guard up, something where it feels like it's been a while, even if they've been in other connections with people, it's been a while since they've truly let anyone in on a deep emotional level. This can speak about even somebody getting ready to talk about fears that they have, hopes and dreams for the future, but also fears that again might have sort of led them up to this point in time to be a bit hesitant with you or take things really slow, or even kind of a push-pull dynamic that has gone on in this situation where they've given or volunteered kind of energy from themselves or been very sort of warm and inviting in the past, only to almost, it feels like, get very overwhelmed by the feeling, the experience of closeness between the two of you, which may have really dredged up those wounds from the past. That it feels like they've taken some time with this winter energy here to introspect about that, and they're seeing that this connection with you, it's worth fighting beyond that kind of hesitation within themselves in order to take a chance on this situation, to allow you and allow this connection between the two of you to prove them pleasantly wrong, in the sense of that they've been afraid to be hurt again in love, or any sort of residue left behind from people who are very careless with their heart, or even like bad breakups that might have made them feel in the past that they were unlucky in love, or that they needed to be more discerning or cautious, which could have been necessary for a period of time while they were healing or trying to sort of create a new identity for themselves after like a painful breakup or a certain kind of period in their life. But this situation and the experience with you is really encouraging them very naturally in a way that doesn't feel forced, but it feels just natural to kind of grow and evolve beyond this kind of shell that they've been living in, to sort of burst forth beyond that and essentially give love another try, or trust in this situation to be so different from what they've known with other people. And so it feels to be something that if their motives in that regard, if you'd sort of felt or sensed that there was some woundedness going on, but they'd been very kind of closed off about the details of circumstances or even just their feelings. It feels like this is someone who's getting ready to open up and start talking about feelings in a way that might be kind of out of character for them, or it shows you a different side of them where it's not just kind of they're sharing the sunshine of who they are, but this is almost kind of inviting you to sit with them in underneath some of the storm clouds that exist within, in the hope that you will have a deeper understanding for who they are as a person in a well-rounded sense, which it feels like is the intention here, is to kind of give you a better idea of sort of the full emotional makeup that they are working with within themselves, in order for you to be able to decide, is this a connection? Am I the type of person that you want to continue to invest with, so that we can map out a different course for ourselves towards a future which is mutually beneficial? Because there's a sense of like, I'm tired of holding back. Like we've reached kind of the end of the line where I'm withholding so much of myself, or I'm hesitant to like fully trust you and let you in. So it may be kind of like a delicate process, almost with this idea of like the winter energy and snowfall kind of cracking something open, sort of breaking the ice in this situation in a way that things that they may tell you might be kind of like shocking or sudden, or it may almost cause you to have a lot of sort of compassion for this person, but they don't want you to have like pity for them in a way. There's a sense of that they're not getting ready to tell you things in order to make you feel sorry for them, but it's almost a sense of, so that you know, kind of, you've seen their strengths, they want to show you their vulnerabilities, because there's an effort here to kind of build trust in that side, to sort of invite you into more of those kind of shadowy or heavier energies within themselves, not in sort of an effort for you to fix them or improve things, but just so that you know kind of like what they're working with in the emotional landscape, so that you can maybe manage your expectations as far as how the connection proceeds forward, like the pace of it and the timing. But then there's also an interest of kind of speeding things up between the two of you. If they've been kind of moving at a deliberate pace, there's almost a lot of sort of preparation that's going into with this Ostara energy. This is like spring equinox, so this is again kind of bursting forth out of this period where there's a lot that's been sort of held within, and kind of bringing that out into the light of day, so that there's the ability to kind of expand in an exponential way emotionally, and it feels like actually as well, from sort of the framework that you've been working with each other up to this point in time, into something more expansive. So let's take a look at a couple of the blocks or challenges or fears that they're struggling to overcome at this time, in terms of this connection, or even just other things sort of going on with this person right now that may be affecting their ability to participate fully with you in the situation. Okay, we have levitation, higher ground, belief, mastery, meditation. And Earth Mother, psychic recharge, grounded healer, mentor, layers. So this can definitely speak to like a mother wound, something that may involve, even kind of the sense of times in their past where they've showed more of like their vulnerable side. They've moved into a place of kind of expressing personal truth and opening themselves up to a receptive sort of energy that may have been responded to by other people, like previous romantic partners, their upbringing, their family, friends. They may have received a lot of ridicule for like a softer side of them, or a side of them that didn't have all the answers figured out, or was in some way like conveying or expressing what they may have been trained to believe was like weakness. Like if you show your vulnerabilities, it makes you weak. Someone will take advantage of you if you let them know kind of the deep nature of the emotions that you're capable of, or if you wear your heart on your sleeve, it's only going to lead to trouble. That might have been the case even in like a previous romantic relationship that had had crumbled, that had fallen apart. And it's something where they never really nurtured themselves back into a place of wholeness from that. It's almost like they just covered up the wreckage and pressed forward in their life with all of this kind of guardedness and boundaries. Something where there may have been a lot of like painful memories or flashbacks or just scenes that they had kept replaying over in their mind as far as like what had happened. Things that they regretted doing, things that another person had done to them that brought forth a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, but there was no way to sort of like process that or release that in a healthy manner, because it feels like people maybe in their lives are just an idea that they had towards, being stoic or not knowing how to kind of understand their emotional body or find like a proper way to sort of vent that or channel that into something. It all has just been sort of like bubbling within themselves. They were kind of encouraged to just sort of move on, just get on with their life, just forget about it, leave it behind. They may have even told like there's plenty of fish in the sea, and although they've sort of moved on into a new connection, obviously they're dealing with you, there's a sense of like they never fully processed the disappointment, how that affected their self-esteem, efforts that they may have made to be like a good partner, a receptive partner, a sensitive partner to another person. Then that was really like thrown in their face, or there could have been betrayal or rejection or just a lot of hurt and a sense that maybe what they were doing or what they were giving wasn't good enough, and they could have even been criticized for like a hypersensitivity or the way in which kind of they might have tried to be emotionally mature with someone they were dealing with that was emotionally immature, and that could have caused this person to sort of question what it was they were inclined to kind of bring forth, as if there was something flawed about them when it might have instead been the other person who had some maturation that needed to happen, some growing up that they needed to do. So it feels like this is something where right now they're kind of in this process of sort of evaluating what the inner critic has to say to them and going through like the programming that they have, the belief systems about love, ideas that they have as far as their self-esteem is concerned, or the type of partner that they are, who they are, that naturally comes forth in a relationship that they may have tried to like temper down or sort of restrain or wall off within themselves in an effort not to get hurt. Like even if they've dated other people since a significant breakup, it's like nobody's gotten in close enough to hurt them. Nobody's gotten in close enough to know the real them. It maybe has all just been kind of a projective, a mirage that they have presented to the world. And there's a sense here that at this juncture in time with the connection with you, they're wanting to let you in past that illusion. They're wanting to let you into that space inside of themselves where it feels like there's a lot of purity and almost like an innocence with which they are capable of giving love, but there's also a lot of chaos. There's a lot of wreckage from unhealed wounds in the past, and there's almost kind of a sense here of feeling like maybe you could help them sort of figure out how to put these pieces back together within themselves, or if they've tried to sort of love and accept these things about them, it may be almost a struggle. Like, will you find this sort of fragmented nature of me that exists beyond kind of, the pleasantries and sort of the best that I've shown you? Is this something that you're going to accept as well? Are you going to welcome the whole of me into your heart? Or is this something where when I show you kind of what I'm working with in the dark recesses of who I am, is this something that you're going to run in the opposite direction or reject me or judge me like other people have done before? So it feels like they're kind of overthinking at this particular point in time. If they've withdrawn their energy from you, they could be like heavily in thought, trying to almost sort of nurse some wounded thinking back into a place of wholeness and health. They're trying to sort of move beyond kind of a pessimism or a jadedness or expecting the worst in kind of a romantic situation or even just their life in general, because there's a sense of the next step with you. They need to move forward with optimism, even if they're not sure kind of what will develop or how that will sort of unfold. There's a sense of they can't bring kind of a defeatist attitude into that next step. They can bring forth an energy of, I'm not exactly sure kind of where we go from here, but I'd like it to be somewhere good with one another. If you're willing to work with me to figure this out, like they understand that that's an acceptable kind of just the beginner's mind almost. But it's a sense of almost de-escalating from within themselves, an energy that they've had to create of like self-protective mode where nobody gets in close enough even to understand that they don't have all the answers. They may present as like a very sort of confident or capable person. They're living life on their own terms, but there's a quadrant of themselves where there's a lot of confusion, sort of like, why have certain things happened to me? Why can't I get over the wreckage of my past? Why am I yearning for love and yet I'm so afraid to let anyone close enough to love me, but then also potentially to hurt me? So it feels like they're questioning a lot of this. They're questioning a lot of their beliefs at this point in time and how that's kind of dictated their actions up to this point, with the essence of wanting to transcend that in order to be able to offer something more or invite you in to help them kind of figure things out with this connection, and maybe even certain aspects of themselves emotionally at this point. So let's take a look at their possible actions towards you. Okay, we have Black Cat, fortune meets opportunity. Apple, risk and reward. And Trick or Treat, mischief and play. So this is a sense of, again, kind of following the intuition, taking a step to let you see beyond the mask, beyond the illusion, into more of kind of the deeper and contemplative nature of their soul, the aspect of themselves that may possess a capability to love another person like you've never been loved before. This could be somebody who's highly romantic, is just desiring that closeness with another person, but they've had their walls up to this point in time. So it's almost sort of like letting you into the secret treasure room within them, all this fortune of love that they hold inside, that there's a sense of almost like, if I don't take a leap of faith, if I just sort of look at the evolution in this situation as like a forbidden fruit, something that's out of reach, it's beyond my capacity to enjoy that because of the illusion of limits that they've put up upon themselves. There's a sense of almost like the moment will pass between us, and I don't want to live with this energy of like not knowing. I don't always want to be kind of wondering what could have happened if I had just taken that leap of faith forward. And it feels like in terms of forward action, a lot of that is just opening up the heart space, just kind of taking off that costume, taking off that mask, and sort of presenting themselves to you and saying, is this version of me, the full me, more of who I am authentically, is this pleasing to you? Is this something that, you want to savor, you want to partake in? Can you handle the intensity of who I am? Both this intense kind of capacity for love, but then also sort of the intense mystery, the things within that I'm still trying to feel through with my own intuition. There's a sense here of almost wanting you to sort of teach them a different way to love, or teach them a different way in which love can look, because they're dissatisfied at what people that they've previously given their heart to, they're dissatisfied with those lessons. There's almost a sense of, you could provide some sort of blessing to me that has been lacking in the past in terms of the romantic aspect of my life. And so it feels like they're again kind of getting ready to sort of take that leap of faith. There's a lot of almost like fear that they're having to sort of jump across here. There's a lot of resistance, it feels like, with this person. It's safer to just sort of hide. It's safer to just sort of make excuses. The comfort zone is kind of like, okay, we keep things surface level, and then at a certain point, it feels like people that they've done with in the past, where they've just kept it surface level, those people just run away. Or if they show a little bit behind, like a peek behind the curtain, those people, similarly run away for different reasons. But there's almost like, I want to take a risk with you that this will be different, that perhaps you're a different kind of person. Maybe it's a different sort of approach that they're taking, where it's just sort of full disclosure rather than kind of teasing the issue, opening up about kind of some deep truths that it's taken them some time to sort of excavate and understand within themselves. But there's a sense that you can't keep sort of dancing around on the border of what you are and what you could be with one another. So it's something where there may be a lot of like nervousness attached to that, hoping that what they have to offer to you is something pleasing, that it's something you'll hear them out, that you'll almost kind of understand what they're saying, or be able to kind of read between the lines in a way where it's almost kind of it's the gift of an invitation, sort of like, this is more of who I am as an individual, and if you're kind of willing to stick around, or it's something to where maybe it matches kind of a frequency or an experience that you hold inside of yourself, there's a lot of optimism with this person. It's like an innocence though too, sort of like, if I show you my heart and soul, are you going to be gentle? Is this something to where we can build in a direction where it's very mutually satisfying because it's based on a place of honesty? Can these seeds of potential between the two of us sprout into something more, something bigger, something enduring? Can we lay these roots with one another even deeper to sort of withstand the challenges that may lay ahead in terms of developing the relationship, or, even just kind of facing the world as a couple? There's a lot of kind of forward momentum, long-term thinking and planning, it feels like, that they're doing. This isn't just, I want to open up about my vulnerabilities and then this is a seasonal connection and we both go our separate ways, but it's almost like taking a leap of faith to sort of dismantle guardedness they've had in place for a very long time, because they see you as somebody that could be part of their long-term future, should be part of their long-term future. And there's a sense their intuition lets them know that it's kind of now or never. It's got to happen like this, or they run the risk of sort of all of this magic between the two of you just sort of fading away, and them still kind of dwelling then with that woundedness behind the walls that they've built around their heart, and kind of never knowing what could happen. So it feels like they're following that intuition, and maybe getting ready to kind of express something that's highly emotional, or just let you in a way that displays a lot of trust for sort of a softer quality about them, that they're getting ready to display, or even kind of indicate to you, maybe energetically first, kind of a quieter energy, as sort of a prelude to like, okay, you've seen the best of me, but I need you to understand the pain that I hold inside as well, so that we can kind of meet in a place of equilibrium in a more well-rounded sense than we have up to this point. So I'm going to get a couple message cards from this person's higher self and see what they want to tell you right now. Okay, and they say, I've thought about you spending time with my family and me. So this may be part of that sort of invitation behind the walls that they have around their heart or their life. This could be explaining to you about sort of their backstory, their upbringing, introducing you to people in their life, so that you are able to kind of get a different perspective, sort of what has contributed to building the type of person that they are. What was the environment that they came from? What was sort of the examples of love and connection? How is that expressed between friends, between like family members that have sort of informed who this person is at a core level? Kind of those first indicators, or people that they looked up to, or even just sort of emulated unconsciously, that it feels like it provides some sort of context for you for like efforts that they're making to either grow beyond those patterns, sort of forge their own path based on kind of wisdom or experience or examples that they've been shown in a positive way or in a negative way, to kind of step beyond that, kind of march to the beat of their own drum. Or it may even help to contextualize for you aspects of woundedness within that they're endeavoring to kind of break free from, understanding patterns and sort of reprogramming themselves to think in a different way, to view themselves in a different way. If they come from like an unpleasant background, for example, it almost might be something that helps you to kind of understand why it could be difficult for them to trust other people, emotionally speaking, or to let people in. They may have been somebody who was raised with kind of a propensity to sort of keep secrets about the nature of things happening emotionally within the family unit, within themselves. And so the idea of kind of sharing those emotions, speaking about things, it could be totally counterintuitive to everything that they've known, everything that they've learned. And so it's not a matter of like making excuses, but it's almost just a sense of helping you to understand that they're kind of doing the best that they can and sort of endeavoring to learn something different or learn new communication skills or coping mechanisms, to hopefully encourage you to have like patience for them through a process of kind of trying to grow into a better, or more well-rounded version of themselves in the interest of being able to have something to give to you in the connection that's different than what they've given to previous connections, or even what they've been capable of believing that they are worthy of receiving as far as love is concerned. They also say, no one can change my love for you. So this is somebody who wants to fight for the future of this connection. If they've been really wrapped up in their head, or you've kind of reached a roadblock where it's very difficult for them to, kind of give to the connection, but it feels more likely that they're having a hard time receiving love at this point. Very unconsciously, it may be where you've sort of hit a wall with one another, where they're confronting a lot of things, where their self-esteem has been damaged, or it was never built up in a healthy manner to begin with. And so this may be something where you've been making efforts, or, things are going like well with this person, and all of a sudden they close off. And there's almost a sense of them wanting to help you understand, like, it's really not you. There's something within themselves that is almost like feeling that they're not good enough, or that the wounds that they have within, if you see those in an up close and personal sense, then you won't love them as much, or you won't find them worthy of like your time and attention. So it feels like they're simultaneously trying to sort of like do some healing within, but then also wanting to make you more aware of what that process looks like, so that you don't give up on them. We also have, my nerves have been getting the best of me. So it feels like they've been planning on speaking some kind of truth to you for a while. There's been a lot that they've been withholding emotionally from you, and there's a sense of them understanding that it's putting a lot of undue pressure on this connection. So again, somebody who's kind of gearing up to speak some truth to you, not just apologize for their behavior or being distant, but it feels like opening up in a way that doesn't make excuses, but it puts context to a lot of things for you. And we also have, I've looked into tarot readings. So that could be literal. They've looked into tarot readings, or they may be like praying for guidance, asking for assistance, from ancestors, spirit guides, angels, deity, friends or family, or even just kind of soul searching within themselves. And all the signs point to efforts that they need to make, or that they should make, or that it's in their best interest to continue to invest in this connection, to trust in you, trust that, you've been with one another up to this point in time, through whatever you've been through up to this point in time. And now at this kind of period where it's almost like they're afraid to show you their vulnerable side, or a fearfulness, or what they perceive as like weakness or woundedness. There's almost a sense of everything is encouraging them, both within their intuition and anything external that they've sought out as far as confirmation. That this is a safe thing to do. This is the good thing to do. This is the right thing to do, to give you the opportunity to get to know who they are as more well-rounded of a person, and to also trust in the love and the chemistry between the two of you, the connection, the attraction itself, as a force that will help in a very positive way to kind of bring the two of you beyond this sort of hurdle, where they're scared to kind of trust in, is this too good to be true? Are you really this supportive of a person? Are you really going to accept me for all that I am, the best and the worst of me? And it feels like everything is giving them the green light that, yes, it's an appropriate action for them to, lean on you, to trust in you, to open up and to let you in further in the interest of sort of building and growing and developing this connection. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. You've got U, G, U, E, L, F, L, D, K, P, B, Y, B, C, Z, H, and W. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. It shows the lepidolite. So let's start by taking a look at the thoughts and feelings of the person on your mind that you're in a love connection with regarding you and the connection itself. Okay, we have Lord God, masculine, herbal kitchen, alchemist, and Watchtower of the South, summer. So there's a sense that you make this person feel very empowered, very capable as far as chasing their dreams, building their dream life. They may be very inspired by who you are as a person, which it feels like is bringing out the best in them very organically and very naturally. You have helped to kind of motivate this person, it feels like, to crack open some seed of potential inside of themselves. Maybe something that the two of you have discussed that was almost like a secret wish or a fantasy or a dream that like nobody else supported, nobody else understood in their life, or may have kind of just dismissed as something very far-fetched. They couldn't accomplish that, they couldn't achieve that, it'd be too much work or effort, or they're too old to start embarking on something, it was too late to kind of change course of their life, or success wasn't guaranteed, that have almost made it to where if they've been pursuing something in their life that it feels like would lead to like a harvest kind of energy, a bounty as far as self-esteem, maybe even like material blessings and abundance, or just feeling very fulfilled as a person, and kind of that their time on this earth is spent in a meaningful way that matters and helps to contribute to other people. There's something about your influence, the energy of you, your living example, time spent with one another, things that you've discussed, or almost just a sense of feeling very supported, seen, and understood by this person, or your understanding and supporting and like seeing them for who they are. It's something that is really encouraging them to sort of dismiss all the naysayers in their life and really start to go for those dreams. You're helping to instill their belief in themselves that anything is possible, no matter what the mistakes are they've made up to this point in time, or wherever they're at in their life. This is almost kind of you give this person initiative to start to dream bigger, to start to almost have the stamina to really push towards goals. There's a sense of them wanting to kind of build success in their life, and seeing that you're the type of person that is the right influence, the right person to have in their corner, even the right person to sort of share that success with. So they may be even sort of envisioning the two of you becoming like a power couple with one another, or they feel very, very empowered within themselves. Their best self just shines forth naturally, even thinking about you and the way that you live your life, goals that you're pursuing, ways in which you're standing in your authenticity and truth, a very heart-centered energy as well. Any challenges that you've been through that you've overcome, or have continued to be sort of open-hearted, open-minded, you lead with kindness, you lead with love, all of that is very inspirational to this individual to get out of their own way, basically. Stop making excuses, stop kind of looking at the worst case scenarios, or even sort of listening to people that may have really squashed their dreams or discouraged them, or even in a well-meaning capacity, might have dissuaded them from certain paths that could be a little more arduous or involve a lot of work and effort with sort of no guarantee for success. And yet, whatever that success looks like, it feels that it would be very fulfilling to this person, and perhaps even very abundant in a material sense, that there's a feeling of almost like, nobody has supported me or been in my corner quite like you have as an individual, or I don't feel as confident within myself spending time around others as I do with you. And so there's a sense of almost, it's helping them to kind of understand your importance in their life even more, and it's building a different sort of love that is not just emotional but very practically. They're seeing you as a person that would make a very good long-term partner for them. It's not just that they have feelings or that there's like sexual chemistry and desire. There's a sense of who you are as a person, your values, your priorities, your work ethic, the way you're living your life. It aligns very much with their visioning of what a dream life would be for them. The right type of influence, the right type of energy to really help keep them on task, but also motivate them to think outside of the box, take risks, take leaps of faith, pursue those goals and dreams, no matter sort of what the obstacles or challenges or kind of the limited odds for success are. So it feels like there's something very endearing about you, or something where they're starting to cherish you as a person, and as a very sort of relevant player in their life at this point in time. So there's a sense of feeling that like there's a loyalty to you that has developed, not just for what you've shown or the experiences that you've had with one another on like a romantic or emotional level, but there's almost just a sense of, you're the right kind of vibe. You're the right kind of individual that speaks success for all areas of my life. And they're equating that with you. So let's take a look at some of the blocks, obstacles, challenges, and fears that they could be dealing with right now, in terms of this connection or anything else going on in their life currently. Okay, we have herbal craft, regeneration, plant medicine, caretaker, bloomer, and drawing down the sun, wildfire, divine masculine, magnificence, witness. So a couple repeating cards here. We have this divine masculine energy, and then we had masculine with Lord and God, and then we've also got herbal kitchen and herbal craft. So this feels like something that this person is really struggling to kind of build the confidence, or they have the confidence within them, and it may be where they're getting ready to like make some sort of big announcement in their life. This could be a change of jobs. This could be letting people sort of know about a bigger dream that they're building toward, investing more of themselves in that, cutting out distractions, applying things financially to kind of seeing those seeds of potential grow and evolve. This is all about sort of watering those dreams, investing that time and energy, taking a class, again, investing like resources and maybe starting their own business, or launching something that they've been working on behind the scenes, things that need to perhaps change as far as their lifestyle in general, that might not be in full alignment with kind of that dream life that they feel is not just, it doesn't just have to be a fantasy, it's something within reach, but it requires solid action on their part in order to really generate that into a place of being. And so there's certain things, not you in this connection, but it feels like other things, other ways in which they've been almost like frivolous with their time, or they've been surrounding themselves with people that sort of have a lack mentality or really discourage them as far as, reaching for those goals that aren't motivating forces, but are maybe just people that are always kind of criticizing, are perhaps trying to keep this person sort of grounded, keep their head out of the clouds, when what they need at this point in time is sort of a visionary energy that pushes them to believe that the wildest dreams are possible. And so there's a sense of almost a struggle to kind of create healthy boundaries with certain individuals in their life, some that may be needing to be cut out altogether, others where they're almost just needing to claim their sovereignty from these interpersonal dynamics, so that they have more time, so that they have more energy, so almost that their psychic channels are not clogged by people who are just sort of radiating at a frequency of lack, because they're coming to understand almost through the difference between time spent with you, time spent in your company, versus other people who, even if they're successful, or they have like stability in their life, they may be sort of just set on mediocrity, or they're not the kind of people that would take risks. It's almost just get a reliable job, work towards that for decades. At a certain point, you'll retire, and then you get to enjoy your life. Like a very kind of predictable and planned out existence, that it feels like there's something that your person's wanting to do to kind of chase a dream, or change their life in a way that kind of brings them more meaning, a sense of excitement about getting up each day and feeling they can really just conquer those dreams, or feel that they're very capable of sort of achieving anything. That certain people in their life that are kind of just going through the motions, just flowing with the current, going with the flow of circumstances, living in a very kind of mundane or linear sense or capacity, they're understanding that this is kind of creating unconscious parameters. Like they've almost sort of tried to shrink or dim their light in order to sort of fit into the expectations of what others have deemed to be sort of a well-lived life, that doesn't necessarily correspond or correlate with something more, like a hunger for more that they have inside, that maybe the two of you have discussed, and you're that support system that says, take a leap of faith, take a chance. You might win, you might lose, but if you don't take a leap of faith, you'll never know. And that is something it feels like that they've really taken to heart. And so they're trying at this point to almost diplomatically sort of create space within their reality and existence, so that only vibrations that kind of like feed into them building the dream, chasing that dream, seizing the moment in their life to kind of unleash their fullest potential, that's what they're going to prioritize. And so it may involve kind of pushing other people away, but then there's also kind of the challenge of discerning or deciphering sort of like who to pull in closer, who to keep close versus who needs to be sort of pushed to the back burner, distanced from, what needs to be sort of cleared out of their life versus what do they need to start cultivating as far as like new habits, new routines, new mindsets, new connections with sort of like-minded individuals, or people that are motivated towards success, rather than sort of just dwelling in a state of mediocrity within their life. And so it feels like the biggest challenge at this point, it's not even so much like you in this connection, it's other things within their life that they're needing to sort of clear cut away from having such a prominent influence in their day-to-day reality, in order to kind of have space for sort of this motivational energy, this go-getter energy. And it feels like steps then that they will kind of take in their life to further those dreams and pursue those dreams. You're the right kind of vibe. You're the right kind of mindset. You're the right kind of influence that will continue to keep pace with them, or that they envision like you're a person they want to bring in closer, they want to keep by their side after this process of almost trying to cull certain things out in order to be able to have space within their life, or space energetically for the blossoming of abundance or new kind of opportunities in other areas of their life and their reality. But they're seeing you as like a support system. So the challenge is not so much this connection, it's like other things that kind of interfere with them really sticking with that stream of positivity and the initiative to kind of move through obstacles and challenges beyond an energy of like it can't be done into I'll find a way to make it happen. So let's take a look at their potential actions towards you. have the veil, the future, skull of light, illumination, and ghost, regret. So there's a sense of this person unveiling long-term plans that they have for you in this connection, having a deep heart-to-heart conversation with you about ways in which they maybe regret not prioritizing the connection in the past, if they've been trying to work towards some other like goal or venture in their life, and there may have been times where they were sort of distant or distracted from you. There's a sense of them realizing that it's because they had a lot of competing energies within their life, or things that they were focusing on that sort of took them away from a growth-minded mentality in general. And so as they're kind of clearing these things away, it feels like they're really prioritizing only things that sort of feed into an uplifting vibration, feed into a can-do attitude for themselves and for their life in general. And so it feels like this will come with sort of the essence of something that brings to light for you an understanding that they have had for quite some time, that you're a positive influence. You are somebody that brings out the best in them. You are somebody that very naturally, just the essence of who you are or the way that you interact with one another, they become that best version of themselves. They can envision that and they take steps to making that a reality for themselves, and that they value this, they cherish this, as other things are kind of being sifted out of their reality. That can be mindsets, that can be habits, lifestyle choices, people that they've been spending time with, even things that they've been doing like professionally or as a hobby. There's a sense of them making more time for the things that truly matter and uplift. So this can be, letting you know that they want to make more time for this connection. They want to involve you in their plans for the future, things that may even involve collaborating with one another, or where they openly express to you just how much of a positive influence you've been, how your words have mattered to them, how you've motivated them through the way in which you live your life for them to make positive changes in their own accord. And so it feels like something that this may be somebody who's in the midst of, again, kind of reinventing themselves or pushing towards some sort of like big goal, long-term goal and dream. So it may almost be something where they're revealing to you more of that plan with the essence of like, I'd like you to be a companion with me as I'm walking towards this, as I'm working towards this. I want you to be somebody who is by my side as I'm taking these kind of daring steps in my life and in my reality to change my circumstances or change my life for the better, and giving credit where credit's due. It feels like showing you a lot of appreciation for the ways in which you have been instrumental for them in sort of coming to understand what matters and what doesn't, what they were sort of involving themselves with that was just depleting their motivation or their life force energy, versus kind of the effect that you or this connection or the way that they feel about themselves after time spent in your company, how that's been a very positive influence, and that there's a desire to nurture that. There's a desire to create more of that closeness. Free time that they have, there's more of a desire to spend that with you. So let's get some message cards from their higher self and see what they want you to know right now. Okay, we have give me a chance. Yeah, so this is somebody that if they've been very distracted with like work or, even kind of a process of having to thin the herd as far as people that they're spending time with, ideas that they've had, a defeatist attitude, or something where they've been very afraid to take risks in their life, there's a sense of them trying to sort of clear that out, shift that perspective in some sort of a way, make space, make room, and invest only in things that kind of uplift them, including you in this connection. So there's a sense that if they've been very distracted, they're going to turn this around. They're going to invest more in you. They're going to give you some kind of an explanation as far as what's been going on, what the thought process has been, where they see you in this connection in terms of long-term future. So if you've been uncertain, kind of like, where are things going? What's happening right now? What are this person's intentions for me, for the situation? It feels like they're getting ready to express all of that to you. but it goes hand in hand with something that they're trying to build and grow and develop for themselves. So it's almost the sense of, if you can keep pace with me during this evolutionary process, I want you to be one of those people that's with me in my hour of success. I want you to be the person that stands by me, as life gets better. I want us to help one another, to pursue those goals, to reach those dreams, to continue to kind of shine forth as the best versions of ourselves. And we also have this whole twin flame stuff sometimes scares me. So if you resonate as a twin flame, this can be that confirmation for you. This definitely indicates somebody who has been sparked or awakened to reinvent themselves, to transmute the life that they were living out of something which was just satisfactory, boring, mediocre. They were just kind of getting by, and there's an excitement. There's kind of seizing the opportunity for adventure, once in a lifetime opportunities that they may sort of have in their sights at this point in time, that they're excited to take leaps of faith towards. This can include this connection or other things in their life at this point, but then there's also that sense of trepidation, that fear of the unknown. It's very bold, whatever it is they're getting ready to do next in their life, or even as far as you and this connection are concerned. Maybe they've never really thought of anyone as kind of standing by their side in their hour of success, or when they kind of reach that level of their life where things are truly going their own way, because they've made it so for themselves, rather than just kind of taking what they've been handed, or sort of following in the shadow of another person. That there's a sense of almost like you empower them to really believe in themselves, and they may not have had anybody that's believed in them this deeply before. And so there's a sense of, there's a gratitude that they have for you, but almost kind of an uncertainty, like, well, what else could this lead to if I feel so empowered to kind of pursue things that I know will make me fulfilled? What else could this love connection unleash within me in terms of that deeper potential, in terms of like a better version of me that I'm actually excited to look at when I see myself in the mirror, versus kind of just accepting who it is that I see. And they also say, I've thought about having a family with you. So this again speaks about like long-term stability, long-term planning, somebody who wants the 10 of Pentacles with you. They see you as somebody who's very much in alignment with goals, values, and dreams that they themselves hold within. So they may be gearing up to have those kind of long-term discussions with you. These are my plans for the future. This is what I want to build. This is what I see us creating together, so that you can sort of fine-tune those details with one another and come up with a strategy to each in your own way kind of work towards that future. And they also say, I have inner childhood wounds. So this again speaks about somebody that they lacked a belief in themselves, or a level of acceptance in themselves, or a sense of, feeling that their goals and dreams, their idea of how life should be lived, or what happiness looks like, they may not have gotten a lot of support for that, or even support for who they are as a person. This may be somebody who was kind of taught to people please, or just kind of fit in with the status quo in some sort of way, and you have really encouraged this person to take leaps of faith beyond the expectations of others. There's a desire to reinvent themselves in many ways, in a substantial way, in a significant way, and it's all influenced by something that you bring forth, the essence of who you are, what you really kind of spark within this individual, that it feels like it's very positive. It's something that makes them feel very excited, very hopeful for the future. And so they are therefore aware that there are certain influences or even belief systems inside that they're needing to kind of clear away in order to move into like a mastery mindset, in order to step beyond perhaps a tendency to self-sabotage or a fear of taking risks in life and in love. This is somebody who is really trying to motivate themselves to push beyond their boundaries. So I'm going to get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name for you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got X, V, A, U, J, P, Z, I, G, I, B, G, and W. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the Amazonite. So let's start by taking a look at the thoughts and feelings of the person that you are in a love connection with regarding you and the connection. We have Spirit, Initiation, Watchtower of the West, Autumn, and Earth, Grounding. So this person may be getting a lot of downloads, dreams, visions about you, about past lives that you've shared with one another, the future of this connection, ways in which they are almost seeing or starting to connect the dots for things in their life that might have been considered closed doors or losses that have happened, things that have kind of rerouted them through dark or difficult times in their reality that may have forced almost a cleansing in their perceptions, could have created like tower moments, rock bottom sort of energy. And in the course of maybe wandering through a dark period in their life, maybe you met this person and it was really a struggle for them to find hope, to find meaning. They were just trying to get through the day, or had just begun kind of like rebuilding something for themselves, trying to find meaning out of the energies of losses in their life, that there's a sense of almost had these kind of unfortunate things or sorrowful things not happened, they never would have crossed paths with you. There's a lot of gratitude that this person has for you. They almost feel like you're a kindred soul, or you help to kind of ground their energy. You match their energy, their vibration very well. There's almost a sense of peace and tranquility that they feel even just spending time in your presence. There's a sense of that they're very drawn to you, very magnetized towards you, but you provide to them a sense of quiet that is not uncomfortable. It's a sense of almost, since having met you, they're able to sort of hear their inner voice a lot more clearly. They're able to sort of make use of psychic gifts and abilities, or learning to explore their intuition, or, you know, again, like downloads and dreams coming through that could have just been things that they were fearful of before, that they misunderstood before, that they just weren't paying attention to before, that it feels like is giving them kind of a deeper perspective and meaning on sort of who they are as a person, their life in general, things that may sort of correlate or link up in terms of your story, your narrative with one another, some kind of shared purpose or something where you have aligned with one another at this particular point in time in order to create that kind of calm within the storm. Anything that they've been struggling to kind of move beyond or release in terms of disappointment in their life, either your words of wisdom have helped them to effectively do that, to kind of cut energetic ties with things in their past that they're not capable of changing, that it's been a struggle to accept, or they're coming to understand again that like if certain things hadn't happened, they never would have met you. If certain things wouldn't have happened, they wouldn't be at this almost like a crossroads, an opportunity to kind of change course, make something better, shift the perspective inside from lack to the opportunity to rebuild in a better direction. There's a sense of that they almost sort of see you or this connection as something very holy, very divine, something that it may even be a mystery, kind of like, what's the purpose? What's the meaning behind this? They may feel that it's, you are aligned with like a calling or some kind of like life purpose that they have. They may be experiencing like the call from spirit, their higher self at this particular point in time, and that could be very overwhelming for them. And so time spent with you helps them to kind of just breathe through it, to experience all of that, this kind of initiatory process where they are shedding a previous perspective about themselves, about the nature of life, love, people that they've met, experiences that they've had, who they are, what they're here to do in this lifetime. And it could be that conversations that you have with one another, the way in which you live your life, anything as far as your own kind of spiritual life or your spiritual experience that you've shared with this individual that kind of speaks to challenges and triumphs, overcoming odds and obstacles, making the best out of circumstances, picking yourself back up after failures, after the wreckage of experiences, self-created or things that have happened to you. All of that feels to be something that's very inspirational for this individual to hold on through the turbulence that they may be experiencing in their life or internally speaking. And it's something that, again, your energy almost acts as like a catalyzing force or even kind of a grounding force for some kinetic energy within themselves that's allowing them to sort of find solutions rather than be so wrapped up in kind of running or avoiding certain things within themselves, or feeling very powerless over their life, or uncertain what the course of their life moving forward has in store. So there's a sense of this person being very grateful for you, very grateful that you exist on this earth plane at the same time that they do, very grateful for the friendship that exists between the two of you, for an unspoken understanding that exists between the two of you, for the affection, for the love, in a very broad and all-encompassing sense that exists between the two of you. There's a sense of, there's like a romantic love, but then there's a divine love. There's something that defies explanation, that is causing them to be more curious, maybe about spirituality, about the nature of love, how much they've been loving themselves, their relationship with themselves, and what that has generated in terms of people that they've called into their reality, or what they've aligned with and thought was sort of their type, their expectation, the one, people that were good for them, versus what they're seeing maybe as people that just benefited woundedness within. That you represent kind of a higher possibility for what the healed or self-accepting version of them is capable of becoming, and also capable of kind of calling into their reality. So it feels to be profound is a word that's coming through. So this is almost a sense that this person feels you are very profound. Your entrance into their life is very profound, or they're going through a very profound experience, maybe spiritually at this particular point in time. And there's gratitude for your presence. If this is an experience right now with this person where maybe you're kind of in a disconnect from one another, you're either like in no contact, or there's been some silence between the two of you. Maybe some things have happened between you, or things are just happening in both your lives right now, and there's kind of a need to sort of attend to other things, other stressors or other factors that are going on that are kind of requiring their attention that they might not be able to talk about with you, or they're just kind of maybe one of those individuals that sort of closes down and tries to figure things out on their own. There's a sense of they feel your presence is like something very sentient within them. They feel you sort of holding that space with them, holding their hand in the darkness as they are kind of trying to just get through every day. And that's something that it feels like at this particular stage in your connection with one another, there's a lot of deep gratitude that they might be in a place where it's like all they really have is sort of their connection with spirit at this point, or that's become like a central point or a focus, something that they've really come to understand that they must work on and sort of build or lean into and trust. But with that is almost the sense of like, you're here, you're like right here with me, or you're in my heart at this time, in a way that's more than just, I have affection for you, so I hold you close, but it's almost, you're there in a higher consciousness kind of sense, but then also very consciously, the very sort of 3D manifestation of you is there during this period of revelation within themselves. And so it feels like something that they're experiencing at this point, almost the tranquility of like a sanctity about your connection with one another, that it's been divinely orchestrated in some sort of way, or that you are kind of someone that's here at this point in their life. They're almost understanding that, or feeling that this is not meant to just be a seasonal connection, but you're somebody that no matter what shape the relationship could take in the future, they're seeing you as somebody like, you will always endure, you will always have a place in my heart. And that this is something that it's very precious to them, what they're feeling about you at this time, or about the nature of this connection, and kind of more of the etheric or mysterious sort of qualities about it. So let's take a look at some of the blocks, obstacles, challenges, and fears that they are dealing with right now, in terms of the connection or other things that are going on in their life currently. Okay, we have Belladonna visions, caution, guidance, clarity, stand firm. And gnomes, humanity, friendship, hard work, little visions. So there's a sense that they are kind of struggling with some self-defeating thoughts, low self-esteem. They may be sitting in a lot of shame and guilt at this particular point in time over things that have happened, things that they have done when they were not operating the best energy within themselves, things that might have really sort of derailed their plans for the future, things that have happened in their past that have been very difficult to move beyond, or that they've been struggling to kind of make sense of, struggling to forgive themselves for, that may have been affecting many different areas of their life, may have limited them in terms of thinking that they are a good person, a decent person, a worthy person. They could have experienced a lot of sort of pushback, judgment, rejection, ridicule from people around them during circumstances that have happened. They may have lost friends. There could be strain with family members. This person could be in a lot of isolation right now, or just feeling that they don't really have anyone to talk about or talk to about certain things. And there's a sense of almost trying to make it through each day and kind of hold on to a sense of hope that things will get better. And so it's a struggle because they may be somebody that has a difficult time sort of asking for help. This could be somebody that typically is the one others come to for help. They are forced to be strong. They're the problem solver. They're the fixer. And now in sort of their hour of need, it's almost they've either pushed people away, they've burned a lot of bridges, or the people that they've had in their life are not equipped to hold space for them. They may be struggling with things in their own interpersonal lives, or it's almost like a painful period where this person's coming to understand other people's sort of true colors, people who might have really benefited from their brokenness, or that there just wasn't that reciprocity. Like they've poured into so many people, and now that it's kind of like they're in need of receiving, suddenly nobody answers their phone, suddenly everybody's busy, or they're not getting that same level of like care and attention and love that they have shown to others in the past. And so it may be a very kind of bitter pill that they're swallowing at this point. It's a very harsh reality in terms of almost feeling that they've been kind of deceived or tricked in some sort of way, that they're not really valued as a person, or nobody really cares. This may even be somebody who people around them are just oblivious to the fact that there's a lot of turmoil going on inside. If they're putting on a brave face, or even if they've just gone sort of quiet, it feels like the world's just going on as is. Nobody's asking them, is something wrong? Are you okay? Is there anything that I can do to help? Things that they may be accustomed to sort of doing for other people very naturally, or that may be sort of very, very harsh, very cold, very lonely, because there's a sense of there's nobody to turn to, or people that are sort of directly part of their world and their reality don't care, or don't seem to notice that they are in need of love. They are in need of compassion. They are in need of a helping hand, even just emotionally, even just somebody to be that listening ear. They may be getting kind of pushed away, or the concerns are just sort of dismissed. People may just kind of be telling them that they're dramatic, or that they're being like irrational, overly fearful. They're just bringing kind of a negative energy into situations. They may sort of open up to other people, and then it's kind of just dismissed. It's not discussed again, or there's not any sort of efforts made to kind of help them figure things out, or cheer them up in any sort of way. So it feels like a very, almost like a clearing energy that's going on at this point in time, in terms of illusions falling away, ways in which they may be sort of struggling with a lot of frustration and anger as well, in terms of people that they've given the benefit of the doubt, or that they prioritize certain people's kind of opinions about things, about who they are, the company they keep, the way that they're living their life, people that might have even sort of unfairly judged you in this connection, that they took those people's opinions to heart at a certain point, but now there's almost a sense of, did these people ever really have my best interest as a person in general, at the forefront of the interactions? Or was this something to where they only kind of wanted me to fit into a certain role, or be a certain way for their own benefit? It's deep thoughts that they're having up to this point in time, where they've kind of allowed others to sort of influence them, or the fear of what other people would think, or wanting to keep other people happy has determined certain kind of courses of action, it feels like, in their life up to this point. And they're starting to sort of see that they've invested that sort of energy in an improper way. They've given pieces of themselves away to situations that don't reciprocate, or the opinions of people that don't really matter. The opinions don't matter. The people themselves are proven that they don't really matter to this individual, because they don't value them as a person. They don't really care. It's for the benefit of others. So this may be a period of time where things are just sort of falling away for this person. Other people are distancing themselves, have dropped this person, or just kind of ridiculing or ostracizing this individual. And there's a sense of almost that they're feeling very low at this particular point in time, and sort of fearful to reach out to you and express this, not wanting to worry you, not wanting to bother you, almost kind of like they may have experienced things as well, where they're not really expecting that anyone's going to support them, or help them, or be understanding to them at this particular point in time, because a lot of people that they had valued very closely are sort of showing that no, they're not good enough. They've rejected this person, or they're sort of turning them away, that they're not wanting to get involved in whatever their drama is that's going on, or whatever their struggle is, almost like people who are sort of keeping their distance because they don't want to get caught up in the storm of whatever's going on in this person's life, or even just kind of a moodiness that is happening at this point, that is showing to them that maybe it's just fair weather friends that they've had. And so there's a sense of almost like not wanting to present that energy to you, it feels like, because they're not really hopeful that anyone can sort of help them through this in an actual way, because people around them have shown them at this point in time that they're unwilling to do that. So it's a lot of almost like defeatist thoughts or pessimism that they're experiencing at this point. Maybe even something as far as like the way that they've treated you, or sort of pushed you away. It's almost like they're not in a good space within themselves, where they may not feel very empowered to kind of like ask forgiveness, present some sort of explanation at this point, because they're feeling very low within themselves, within the choices that they've made, and whatever difficulties they're kind of facing to sort of pick up the pieces of their life, or reshape it in some sort of way. There's almost the essence of like, I want to bring forth to you something that may kind of have obstacles attached to it, but that there's glimmers of hope, like an understanding that they need to sort of move through this kind of dark night of the soul, even maybe on their own. Kind of they've gotten themselves into this lonely position, and the only way out is through. And that might be really be a struggle at this point, or they're trying to kind of like keep you at a distance, to not sort of bring you down, not sort of allow these chaotic energies to in any way sort of dampen your mood or dim your light in any kind of capacity. It's almost like like a protective energy. They're trying to protect you from whatever's going on, like emotionally or in their life at this particular point in time. But there's also a very lonely energy attached to this. Like, it shouldn't have to be this way. I shouldn't have to be going through these things, or going through this process of trying to like forgive myself or move beyond sort of guilt and shame. I shouldn't have to be doing this all on my own, because other people have someone, or they have people to lean upon. I've been that person for other people. I've been that shoulder others have leaned upon. But in my hour of need, it's almost like there's nobody around. It's just me. And there's a sense that they understand that's kind of self-created, but then it's also, there's almost sort of a struggle at times to sort of understand maybe a deeper purpose, that they're going through some kind of process of initiation or ascension, maybe like spiritual awakening even. And this is kind of the disillusion of everything they were kind of holding in a certain capacity before, in order for something more authentic to kind of come from that, to sort of rise from those ashes, for this person to be able to rebuild in a very conscious way, rather than kind of just being swept up in sort of the life that they had found themselves in, or choices that they'd made based on kind of a more of a toxic version, or an unenlightened version of themselves. So it's a process of rebirth that is very like private at this point. It's maybe filled with a lot of kind of painful energies within themselves or within their life, but there's a sense of it being very, very lonely, and kind of not having anyone to turn to, wanting to reach towards you, wanting to kind of like pull you closer or ask for help, but at the same point in time, some part of them that is almost like holding them back, that they have to go through this alone. So let's take a look at their potential actions towards you. Okay, we have Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality. Eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death. And Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. So yeah, this energy definitely all confirms somebody who's going through dark night of the soul, ego dissolution, and having to coagulate and rebuild a new version of themselves on some sort of path of ascension, awakening, enlightenment. It feels like something that there may be an increase in kind of the energetic bond between the two of you, something that strengthens through the process of this person walking through their own kind of dark night of the soul, or spirit almost carrying them, or assisting them, or kind of guiding them through this energy of sort of becoming a different version of themselves, transforming into the next manifestation of who they are. That as they kind of move beyond sort of seeking the light and the darkness, and come more into the realization that they are that light and they are the darkness, that this is something that helps to strengthen the essence of how the two of you are able to fit together with one another more closely on the spiritual plane, that it feels like then ripples out into the ability to connect more deeply emotionally and also physically with one another, that may be characterized by almost kind of like a period of distance that needs to happen, where either this person is just kind of closed off within themselves, or if there is a disconnect and like physical distance, you're not talking or you're not regularly communicating, it feels to be like with a higher purpose. They're needing to go through this metamorphosis within themselves. That kind of all these energies of death and rebirth can speak to a lot of mirrored energy. You both may be going through a process of up leveling, regrowth or rebirthing in some ways. It could look very similar, it could look very different, but it's almost a sense of you're both going through this transitional period that kind of raises your vibration or changes things within sort of your material reality and your immaterial reality, to help create sort of a greater capacity to come back together with one another, or to step into kind of a higher experience of love. It feels like there may be this person kind of reaching out energetically. There may be a lot of telepathy between you and this individual. Very consciously, they sort of reach towards you, energetically speaking. They could be expanding their spiritual knowledge and awareness and kind of willing themselves to sort of project towards you, astral project, utilizing telepathy to kind of communicate in ways that they may be limited or unable to do in a material sense, either because of material circumstances or because of like an existential crisis, things emotionally where they may be sort of shut down in a way. They're just trying to get through the day and may not have the ability to really engage in sort of the heaviness of kind of what's happened between the two of you, what's going on in their life, what's going to be happening in the future, because it may be a struggle for them to sort of maintain hope or maintain kind of the pace of moving with the ups and downs of their day-to-day reality. That may be a struggle in like a 3D sense. So it's almost like all they can give at this point is sort of this internal energetic communication between the two of you. But it feels to be something where there's definitely an essence of they want more in this situation. They want to come back together. They want to evolve to the next level, but there's an understanding of sort of our relationship as it was up to a certain point in time that's fallen away, or it's going through like a death period in order to be kind of reimagined, reinvented into something where we're not just making up for lost time, we're not just kissing and making up, but we're able to come together and connect with one another in a very deep capacity, energetically speaking, spiritually speaking, emotionally speaking, actually speaking. And there's a sense of this person really trusting in that higher self, trusting in sort of the signs that they're getting, sort of working with their spirit guides, maybe developing relationship with their spirit guides, with their ancestors, the relationship to source, the relationship to their higher power, the relationship to you in an energetic sense, feeling that companionship, like you're there with them. You're walking with them, you're holding hands through this experience together. Even if there's like physical distance between the two of you, you're with one another. And so this is something that it feels like as they're making their way through this process of kind of having shed a version of themselves or needing to shed a version of themselves in order to kind of reinvent, pick up the pieces of their life or redefine that in a way, there's a sense of them understanding they're moving with you in this process. There's a motivation to come towards you. There's a motivation to build closeness, repair anything that has been torn asunder, or to deepen the bond between the two of you. But in the present moment, it's almost like they themselves are going through an energy of reinvention. And so it may be, again, kind of like distanced, silence at this particular point in time in like a 3D sense. Energetically, you may start to kind of notice that things pick up. It becomes different the way in which they interact with you. You're able to feel their energy. There may be a lot of signs and synchronicities that are kind of like your higher selves or spirit, or even this person kind of consciously putting that energy of love out towards you while they are limited in what they can kind of express or say in a material sense. It's almost like my energy is unlimited though, and I will send those loving vibrations your way because you are here with me as hope during my darkest hour. And so I want to return that. I want to reciprocate that. I see that you are that consistent person where everything else has kind of disappointed. You are the one that has made me feel proud, has made me feel certain, has really been there for me through thick and thin. And so it feels to be something that there's more that they want to provide and give to you in this connection, but it's something that it's preceded by this process of sort of death and rebirth that they're going through at this particular point in time, this energy of alchemy within like every aspect of their life. So you may notice those energetic communications increase, but then it feels like whenever they're able to kind of take that next step materially towards you, it may come with a very different experience than what you've had with this person or what you've experienced of this person in the past. Like in a very positive way, they're kind of stepping into a better version of themselves, or sort of a new and improved version of themselves, a more authentic and honest version of themselves. So let's get some message cards from their higher self and see what they want to tell you right now. have you gave me that spark. Yeah, so this can definitely be something where you've initiated this person into like a spiritual awakening. You've catalyzed that for them. They could have catalyzed that for you. If you resonate with the concept of twin flames, this can definitely indicate that, or even just high level soulmates. Where your energy signatures with one another, blending actually, or in the immaterial realms, has kickstarted something that is profoundly changing everything within your energies, the way you're living your lives, kind of your view of reality, sort of your purpose here on this planet. There may be a lot that is kind of shifting as far as your personal narrative arcs. There's a sense of almost you're the light in the darkness with them while they're kind of wandering through this valley of transformation in their life. They're holding you very close, or recognizing you as that companion, where everything else may have kind of quieted down. You're almost that consistent whisper that is always with them, in their spirit, in their heart. They're able to decipher your energy, and they're starting to kind of understand a deeper sort of meaning behind many things in their reality that is bringing them to this aspect of like, I want to return to you. I want to move towards you. I want to evolve within myself more deeply and more completely, so that we can create a bond with one another that defies what we have known in terms of connection in general, not just emotional connections, but there's a sense of almost the ability to have a deeper connection on a human to human level, or on like, a spirit having a human experience sort of level than they've been able to know was possible with anybody else before. And we also have, I was in denial. Yeah, so this person, it feels like, is seeing a lot of true colors about people around them, ways in which they were living their life, things that they had imagined was kind of their purpose, their point for being here, if they'd even thought about such things. It feels like the veil of illusion has sort of fallen away from this individual, and they're really reprioritizing a lot of things. They're having to do the interpersonal work. This doesn't really feel like something that they've decided to kind of go in and do some shadow work, but the universe may have really sort of pushed them to that. And there's a sense that around that time, or subsequent to that, or kind of intermingled with all of that, was the experience of you, the encounter of you, is kind of like the universe saying, okay, here's this darkness that you need to go through, but there's a torch that you will bring with you. There's a light that will be your companion through this process of sort of redefining the relationship that you have with the nature of your own polarities of light and shadow. So there's a realization now that sort of the feelings for you, the experience of you, the nature of you, it goes far beyond the material. It goes far beyond something which is logical and linear, and the intensity of that might have really frightened this person at first, or could have kind of been conceptualized as something that was beyond their level of understanding. They could have been a very logical person prior to meeting you, and now they've sort of been thrust into this sort of world of the spiritual. So they're learning a lot. They're exploring a lot. They're deciphering a lot in terms of wisdom that's just sort of harbored inside of themselves. So someone who's going through a deep process of personal transformation at this point. And we also have, even though we're not together, I just can't see myself letting you go. Yeah, so there's a sense of that they feel you from afar. They are calling to you energetically from afar. They're holding you very close at this time. It may be that you and this person are so closely aligned energetically that they could have almost disappeared. You could be blended into one another's energy so seamlessly that there's almost a sense of like, where did you go? And you're right in alignment with one another, moving through a process of death and rebirth, moving through that process of up-leveling, ascending, and you're kind of keeping pace with one another. You have fit very precisely like the yin-yang, just blended in, and kind of everything then changing and sort of being recalibrated in all the different sort of layers and aspects of who you are. Each of you are kind of from the liminal all the way to the material, so that the next phase of your experience with one another in a 3D sense can bring with it the ability to kind of fit together all those pieces more snugly or more precisely with one another than has been the case up to this point in your experience with one another. And they also say, I've been astral projecting to you. So there's that confirmation of somebody who is consciously willing their energy towards you, trying out astral projection, trying out telepathy, and, sort of like as the words are limited, as their ability to communicate verbally or actually is sort of restrained or constricted at this point, they are allowing those energies of the heart space to flow. They may have gone through some kind of heart chakra activation or opening, or they are willing their heart open to sort of send you that love from afar. This is somebody who is not wanting to fight their feelings, deny this connection, but is really sort of reaching towards you, allowing themselves to be pulled towards the next step, the next stage in this situation, in tandem with whatever they're being called to sort of surrender to in terms of a process of transformation in their life, or steps that they are guided to take in their life to create better changes for themselves, or to try and pick up the pieces and maybe move beyond anything that's been sort of holding them down, or anything that's kind of fallen apart at this point. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name if you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got I, A, O, N, B, H, D, F, X, R, H, N, I, T, L, T, and O. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.